What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. It seems like the term HOC may be getting suppressed by YouTube once again. This has happened to me before in the past. I don't know what it could stand for. I use it for House of Champs, but I'm going to be changing these titles to House of Champs Market Watch, which takes up more of the title, letting me describe the series less. So please pay attention to that change, as well as like these videos if you enjoy them, and comment and discuss down below, because every interaction will help the series spread more as possible and help me continue doing what I love for a living. That being said, let's get into today's Market Watch, starting with an interesting buyout. At first, I really laughed at this. I was like, why would this happen? Advent Calendar Super Lone Fire is now $5 for its lowest on TCG Player, with Adam Korn, of all people, on the ball with the relisting at $5, and completely out on eBay except for foreign sellers. And I was like, well, there's other versions. This is fine. Like, why would you go after the Advent Calendar? And then I started looking around and was like, oh, only 17 prices on the Fusion Enforcers with a couple light play leading, and then it's $2. And the other versions are all towards, well, $3 to $2 for commons, rares, and then the highest rarity is the Champion Pack Super, so you have multiple other super rares, and the Advent Calendar one I think does look nicer than the Fusion Enforcers version. Then we look through, yeah, no, only foreign sellers on eBay for the Advent Calendar. Complete buyout on this card across the market. And then over here, we have the Fusion Enforcers, again, only 16 sellers, and it goes from $2.25 to $3 very quickly, and then up towards that $5 mark. My opinion is this: Lone Fire Blossom has defined formats. Amazing for the plant engine, does help get to Predaplant engine, but we're in an age with Effect Veiler, Widow Anchor, Infinite Impermanence dropping out of the hand as well, and whenever these things happen to Lone Fire Blossom and you've eaten your normal summon, and, you know, Brilliant Engine has been hit so you're not continuing your plays as easily, it really hurts in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just not too sure about this one. It smells like a little bit like, oh yeah, Needle Fiber might be coming for the 20th time in terms of buyouts. I feel like err with caution on this. Don't rush out and get yours if you've been holding off for whatever reason. I feel like most people that would want Lone Fires would have them. But it also is a little interesting for building past format decks, which is something we've been doing in the house. So just take that into consideration, that there are other versions, but almost every version creeping up towards that $3 range with this buyout. Now, looking around, the Unizombie is something that I thought of with this. There's only one holofoil version, so this is maybe something to get sooner than later if this speaks. Like generic typing engine foil pieces, Unizombie is still really, really affordable and cheap. 63 prices total is not a lot for the market. So if you're shopping stuff like this, use my TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and making me not rely on ad revenue for when I get suppressed on YouTube. Now, within this Market Watch, something to keep in mind is that no sooner than is coming. I don't like to bet on banless speculation, but there's things that we can really expect happening, such as maybe Thunder Dragons and Sky Strikers getting hit. So when looking through the market throughout these next few Market Watches, do keep that in mind, that not only is Dude's release coming, which we now know the full set list very early thanks to Farfa and Konami working with YouTubers, but also the No Sooner Than is coming. So you have these two things that are really going to help continue to cool off the market, despite stuff like double YCSs this weekend, which will certainly shake up the market a little while I'm gone to Disney World. But it's definitely something to consider looking forward. I want to go over Rising Rampage because it is cooling the heck off. We still see Apollosa hanging around $350 for those prismatics if you're shopping for them, which has continued to happen. A lot of people thought it would be $400 solid, and we keep seeing people that are pulling them, putting it out at $350. But how long can that keep happening since it's only in the first edition boxes? How long will we keep seeing these copies pop up before they disappear, or will we continue to see motivated sellers over time? Marinsa Seahorse is towards 200 and holding now, and Win falling under 150, and the joke of the prismatics gets you a box spec. But the rest of the set is falling out. Apollosa already back down to $50 on TCG Player. That sale had made it get bought out to a point of like $68, and now we see it all the way back to 50. This is awesome. It's the leader of the set, but then the rest of the set doesn't hold a lot of value. This reminds me of Next Challengers, where we had Virgil and Cleefort, I believe, Disc, selling the set top heavy, and then it really crashed fast. And the rest of this is so affordable. Gizmek Orochi seeing a ton of play right now in different decks, and I put this in a lot of my online decks as well. It plays in Orcust, which very popular right now as an engine, yet only 12 to 13 bucks. There's not really, you know, coolant from the special edition. You see first editions are what's lining down here. So as I said, it would have to be natural coolant. We don't see a ton of unlimiteds leading the charge. We see a lot of first editions still as all the cheapest prices from sellers. So it's very interesting the effect we've seen on the market of it continuing to tank from highly underestimated cards such as Get Out that I would have a playset of no matter what. Oh, no. You opened so many Rising Rampage boxes, didn't you? See, a lot of people are going to be ripping these open just to avoid a loss on having them and hunting down the prismatics to try to get there. Oh, I feel bad for some of these sellers, man. And then just, you know, when everything else is 5 and under after the first page, the set's not looking too hot. I think we were really spoiled by Dark Neostorm. Every card is a heavy hitter, yet we see coolant here outside of Dengirsu and Cynet Mining, someone selling one for 35 near mint before we see freaking 40s, but no material. Guess what happened here? It's not like people are just like, oh, gotta get rid of them, and this is much cheaper than eBay from what I've seen. This has fallen because there's new hand traps such as Nibiru that just happened to be better options and kind of stole its space in the extra deck. While this is limited by its own effect early on, Nibiru's not, and can be used at any point during the duel. Like, you obviously wait for them to bust through your own field to use Nibiru against them. It's a constant looming threat, whereas no material has its activation requirements that have to be met. And it seems like people are really sleeping on it, and it's down towards $15. So if you were waiting to get yours, I could definitely see this heating back up as a tech discussion during the WCQ format. It's something to watch as we move forward. Avermax, very cheap and affordable too. Omni Dragon Brothar. But when we talk about all these cards, look, they're actually being used within a metagame. Omni Dragon, Ib is being used as an engine. Like, these cards, this changed Burning Abyss, yet, you know, we're not seeing it much, and this got reprinted. But all these cards that we're looking at really have an impact on the front page, whereas Apollosa's kind of leading the charge over on Rising Rampage. So I feel like in terms of effects and cardability, Dark Neostorm had this amazing spread, whereas Rising Rampage really had kind of a closed ceiling on what's actually seeing use versus potential. The Gold Sark Tins, so there was a tweet by my sponsors over at TCG Player about how Nibiru could be 15 by the end of the next weekend, and I kind of laughed that one off. It didn't age too well, did it? But Nibiru is still an amazing card. It's cooled off a little towards the point where you can get them around $7.50. Dark Ruler No More down just under $4. Pro Play Games, hey, really cheapening their prices. And we see Dollar Dimension Shifters. A lot of people nabbed this one off the market, yet we still see it cooling down just because of the quantities that are there versus the people not using them. I feel like Dimension Shifter has that choking out effect that no material does too, of you're probably only activating one of these within the duel, and people find more utility in the other hand traps, but I still do think it has potential to have its format. But we talked about that with Skullmeister forever too, and it took a made-up Worlds format for it to be kind of good. We look at the Gold Sark Tins over here. Jackalope just continues to increase little by little, almost all the way to $15 now. And Boral Sword value displacement keeps going down. I think last time we looked it was like $12.50, and now it's headed towards $10. The competition on the Megatins higher than ever. More independent sellers ripping these open, and we got cheaper prices from vendors as well. I don't think we've ever seen cases of Megatins selling out at $175 from multiple Facebook vendors, from Tier 0, from so many sources. So this kind of effect has led singles to be cheap, but what is going up slowly is the Danger engine, I feel like, and the other meta engines such as Sky Striker. Now we see this towards 7, and the Thunder Dragon stuff still looming around the $5 mark. Trap Trick, so freaking affordable. I would still have my playset. So we see this competition of people ramping up, and Pro Play Games here again. Look at you guys. Look at you guys. Cheapest everywhere. All right, all right. But we do see that in the further pages that there's just this amazing ability to get really staple cards for cheap right now. Don't sleep in the winter market. I know it gets cold, but if you fall asleep, you die. Don't sleep on cards. Get them sooner than later for what you want and need for the WCQ season, because you're going to look back on these prices and kind of wish that you'd got them sooner than later for some of these cards. Now let's go into the OTS Pack Ultimate market that we haven't looked at in some bit. Instant Fusion is trekking up versus its market price. We see $55 and very, very few copies over here, and it's even more expensive on eBay at $65. We're seeing Instant Fusion teched more within the metagame. I'm using it personally in Thunder, an amazing starter and extender card. And of course, you're able to use it for Thousand Eyes Restrict and have a piece of the Orcus combo, which also can be summoned after because it's a dark. There's just so many uses for Instant Fusion within the metagame. And I feel like in any refined metagame, we start to see this card more and more used. I do think it's a great have, and almost every version of Instant Fusion in general is going up to actually bring this into the discussion. We see the DTs actually pretty affordable at $5, and it's one of the most affordable versions, as we see many, many different copies around the $5 mark. Even the commons stretching towards $4 shipped without the free shipping options from these people, and Astral Pack commons towards $4. So honestly, get the DT right now if you want something nice, but you're on a budget and you're looking for this card. But if you're not, get yourselves the Ultimate Rare using my TCG player link in the description down below, because you're spending more money, smile, but also finding yourself the cheapest option. Invocation is also much cheaper on TCG player. It's nice to see during this winter market that the competition ramps up over there. This is an engine that I've been kind of staring at and considering getting for myself, because I really enjoy in my off time playing Mech Knight Invoked and kind of Invocation decks. It's one of my favorite long-standing engines that's still pretty good. Could top a regional, but isn't going to be that great at a YCS. You don't always have to play to win a YCS, boys. The secret's out there. Casual play's okay, but foiling out your deck on casual decks, I feel like a lot of people are down for that too. And this is one of our first looks at it at under $30, normal price $34. So maybe go ahead and get yourself some deals on a playset of Ulti Invocations. Cosmic Cyclone's one I've been watching. I saw DZF actually say, don't forget this card, and I've seen it played more on Dueling Book lately, so I might nab an Ultimate Rare while I'm at it too, because there's so many cheaper prices before it does get towards 30 right now, but it's definitely something that I'd be considering. And final note here, do you guys think the GOAT market is dead? We look at Ultimate Scapegoat, and I know not everybody appreciated how it looked in person, but at $28, it kind of has me scratching my head, and, you know, under 30 here, and we see it's a very similar price on eBay. Well, we look back at something else. Tsukiyomi was $16 forever. It just stayed there and stayed there, and people were like, it doesn't look that good. No, I'll use my commons, I'll use my rares, that kind of stuff. And we also have a Duelist Saga Ultra Rare, which, very, very cheap. People sleep on this rarity. Not everybody likes it, I understand. But people initially didn't like Ultimate Rare Tsukiyomi. It seems to have grown on people. And while we've seen ridiculous buyouts to where there was like, oh, 180 cheapest, we see it fall back here over time to $50, which is surprising. I almost thought it would dig its heels in the sand at 80 after a while, but we see competition over time, people not giving in to these ridiculous GOAT format prices, and an actual fallout happen to where we even see, look at this, like, near mint ulti at $40. This is very, very nice. So my question to you is, do you think that the GOAT format buyouts are calming down and now people are truly going for a collector's market of ghost rares, ultimate rares, and not really looking at GOAT format anymore? Or do you think it's just a little bit of a sleep and a little bit of time before we see prices like this get ridiculous, like prices like this? Because this is on a constant cooldown, it feels like to me. Even though its market price says 36, this is a cooldown from where it's been at for some time from what I've been watching. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. Please help out the video by doing so, and like the video if you enjoyed the discussion. Like I said, using the TCG player link does help directly. I'll be going to Disney, so the next couple of videos will be from the Dueling Book versus IRL Team Wars, and also some interesting discussions that maybe you might have caught on the live streams, and one that I'll be coming up with tonight. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.